Alright, well, week 3. Seems like forever since the last video. I have had a lot of new revelations this week, and so it's just like jam-packed with information and knowledge and transformation and the way that I'm thinking, and it makes it seem like last week was a month ago. Uh, I've been watching more of the Weight Loss Apocalypse videos on their YouTube channel, and I decided there's just little nuggets in so many of them. I went back to the beginning and I just started watching them chronologically. And the one that I watched a few this week that really impacted me for my story. But one of them, I'll put a link to it, and I believe this is the one that it just, no matter what your backstory is, did you have controlling parents? Did you have parents that neglected you? Was it a relationship? Whatever it is, it always comes back to, if you are using food outside of hunger, you have a self-value issue. And it's kind of funny because I don't think that I thought that I did. I thought that I had a good self-esteem, that I was an intelligent woman, that I, owned my own part-time business that I just made up out of nothing, and that I take care of my family and all of these things that I thought, that I liked about myself, and I do. I like those things about myself, but I didn't think that I had a self-value issue. And I started thinking about it, and um, I do, because there's no reason to have an addiction outside of not having value in yourself, in your own soul. So I just really started to try and pick and pull those things apart, and um, that could I believe the statement that I have value because I was created to exist, no matter what I do, no matter accomplishments, nothing about really accomplishments are probably the way that I've measured myself the most, is trying to oh, well, I did this, this, and that today, or I did this, that, and the other this year, and that makes me valuable. And the other thing is imagining that other people think, oh, she's responsible, she's intelligent, um, she takes care of what she needs to take care of, and I would do things so that I would believe that people would think those things about me. And uh, in a lot of the videos, Robin Woodall talks about uh, going back to a child and remembering what it was to be like a child, to eat freely, to play freely, to but I don't really have that because my childhood was not that way. So I try to think back on my life about where I felt that freedom, and I think about 19, I had moved out. I had uh, rented a room from a friend that I was working with, and I was free. I was only responsible for me. I didn't have a boyfriend. My parents, my dad, wasn't controlling me, and I could do whatever I wanted when I wanted. I had a job. I paid my bills, and we drank a lot of alcohol because we were all young, and that was what we did. And but I had a car. I had my own apartment, and sometimes at 10 o'clock at night, there'd be a group of us at the apartment, and let's go to San Francisco. And we'd all hop in the car and we'd drive to San Francisco. And I just remember that being a really free time. So I look back on that time, and I have done that in the past. But I think what I falsely connected was I had freedom then because I wasn't responsible for anyone but myself. And so then I've always felt kind of trapped. I love my husband and I want to be married to him, but I have felt trapped by that idea of marriage and responsibility to take care of other people, and that responsibility felt like a burden, and that I couldn't be free and I couldn't be myself or something like that. So then I really challenged myself to look at that. Is that true? Am I not free to be me inside the constraints of being married and having responsibilities to take care of a household and children? And the reality is I'm not. I do not have to pay the bills. I could just not do them. I could not cook meals. I could not make sure that things are stocked up in the house by shopping. I could let my car run out of gas. I do not have to do anything. So if I didn't pay the bills because I didn't want to, what would happen? Things would be late fees, things would be shut off. So do I want to pay the bills? Yes, I want to pay the bills because I like to have water and electricity on demand. I like to turn the faucet on and have water. I want to pay the bills because I want that outcome. I want to make meals because I want my family to have something yummy to eat when they are hungry. I want to be able to fulfill that in their lives. Now, I make them cook plenty of times on their own. They're getting older, and I basically cook dinner, and you're responsible for everything else. But if I can change the I have to statements to I want to statements, there's freedom. Because I'm free to want to do things. Have to is a burden. It's not a choice. It's you have to do it. Well, there's nothing in life that I have to do. I am a free agent. I have free will. I could choose not to do those. Now, the way that my life would turn out is probably not a way that I want to live. It's probably not the person I want to be. Do I want to let the car run out of gas? And now my husband's going to have to be the one probably to take care of that, to get gas, to go down there, to fill it up, or tow it, or something. Do I want to create that in his life? No, I don't. So that was a big change for me. I have to do nothing. What do I want to do? The other thing is when I find myself feeling that I have to do this, I have to go here, I have to say this, to challenge myself and say, why? Why do you have to do that? And if I cannot find a want statement in there that I want to do it for a reason, then it's likely that I'm doing it because I want to impress someone. I want them to think well of me. I want them, because I was gauging myself by how I imagined people viewed me. And that's not free. So that was a big change. I went on my first girls' day outing, which I never ever do, but I have a friend, and we went to a little peddler's fair in a town nearby and looked at all their little goodies at their booths. And the food was a little bit stressful at first to think about, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna pack everything that I'm gonna need for the day, so that I'm free with my schedule. I don't have to worry about being in a certain place at a certain time to eat because I'm hungry, or to take my drops or whatever. I adjusted my drops from 6 drops 6 times a day to 12 drops 3 times a day because I knew that the schedule was going to be up in the air, and I didn't want to have to be stressed out about trying to meet that every 3-hour deadline. And it was nice. I couldn't focus on food. I couldn't focus on the street tacos and the other stuff. I do have to say I don't have a sense of smell, probably 98% of the year, and that is a godsend, I think, on this journey, because if you could smell all the street fair stuff, that would be so much harder. But we also stopped into a pub, and normally I would have enjoyed a few cocktails with my friend, and I couldn't, or I chose not to, because I'm trying to do this protocol for my body, and but it was fine. She had a couple cocktails, and I had some soda water with lime, and I'm not sure what that dog is barking about. And we chatted, and I didn't feel deprived. I didn't feel, oh, woe is me, because it's my choice to do this. I don't have to do the HCG protocol. I don't have to. No one's making me. I'm doing it by choice because I want to. And so the last thing that I was really working on this week was this idea of, your soul, and that your soul has value. No matter, Robin had talked about, if you took your soul, what is you, your feelings, emotions, thoughts, and put that into a different body, one that's bigger or smaller than the one that you have, would you be different? And if you really think about that, you wouldn't. Your thoughts, what is you, would not be different. Just the outside package would be different. And if I, so I'm thinking about that, and thinking about how do I connect to that soul, because a lot of my life I live disconnected from it. I do connect to it on a regular basis, but I'm not connected to it all the time. I live in my head a lot. I live in my mind with thoughts and analyzing things, and that's part of who I am, and that's okay. But I can't disconnect from my soul when I'm doing it. So thinking about how do I connect to my soul, and I'm going to be making a list of the ways that I feel connected to my soul, like when I'm being creative, I feel connected because that inspiration comes from that connection with my soul. When I am thankful, that thankfulness comes from my soul. And when I am talking to God in, worship songs or prayer or reading the Bible, I'm connected to my soul because that's how I hear Him. That's how I connect to Him. So I'm going to be looking at how else do I have that connection, and really working on keeping that connection going. Because really, if I think about it, if I were connected to my soul, could I sit down and eat a box of cupcakes or Suzy Q's or something like that? Could I shove those into my mouth if I were connected to my soul? I don't think you can. I think that it would automatically feel like self-abuse. It would automatically feel false and inauthentic. And so those past times when I've done that to myself, when I've eaten a bunch of junk, it was to avoid some feeling that I didn't want to feel. You stuff yourself with food and that feeling goes away. And but if I have that connection, I don't think I can do that. I think it feels like abuse when you do it. If I'm disconnected and I'm living in my mind, in my head, I can do it, because my head is like, I don't know what to do with these feelings because I'm not connected to the soul, and I don't have a way to process this, and I don't like it, and it's painful. So make it go away. Eat. And so I'm going to be looking at that. And then the other thing that I've been working on this week is trying to teach some of these new things to my kids. I have a kid that struggles with anxiety sometimes, and I was telling him, not by practice, because I don't do it very often, but I have experienced this before. I've read about it and I've experienced it before, but I don't allow it on a regular basis, but I will be in the future, that when those negative feelings come, to allow them to be there, and that they will get bigger and bigger and feel like you're gonna die, like it's painful, but then somehow they like rise up in your chest, and then they dissipate and they go away, and then they're gone. And so I passed that information on to him, and I think he said that it's been helping him. So practice what I preach is the next step. And I think the last thing that I really worked on this week, I decided I'm not going to weigh myself to the last day. Even a weekly weigh-in is going to have an emotional attachment for me, because I have a number in my head of what I think I want to see. I want to see that 7 pounds or 5 pounds or 4 pounds, and if I don't see it, I'm still going to have that emotional, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong this week? Instead of on a daily basis, it'll just be on a weekly basis. So there is evidence, and I can see changes in my body. My husband can see changes in my body, and that's the point. So if I don't go off protocol, there shouldn't be any issues. So I'm not going to weigh myself until the very end now. And that's a little bit freeing, a little bit what if, but again, there is no what if, there is only what is. So I'm going to try and focus on the is instead. And I think that's it. I think that was really what I've been working on this week. And it's I'm halfway through the protocol now, and I'm really bored with the food. Like, I mean, I eat it and I enjoy it when I eat it, but I think that seeing other foods or remembering what other foods tasted like are starting to be more real to me. Like my family ordered pizza, and not just pizza, my favorite pizza, which it's funny because we've had arguments about it before. And it didn't bother me that they were eating it because I want them to enjoy something good, but I was like, oh, I cannot wait to be able to have that. So the next step is when I'm on real life eating stage, I will have pizza, and I will have that pizza, and I know that I will be able to eat it because it's yummy and because it's food and because I want to enjoy it. But the next step will be, will I be able to stop when I'm actually full, before I'm full, so that I don't become overfull. So that'll be that test. So I'm working on figuring that out now so that I can try and have a better sense of that sensation then. Because, like Robin has said in some of her videos, that those foods, those carbs, have a faster and stronger influence on your leptin. And if you eat too fast, you'll go too far and not even notice. So, alright, that was my week, and I will report again next week. Have a lovely, lovely, and fabulous week for yourselves.